Greetings and welcome. Goodness gracious, that was a bit clunky getting going here. I was beginning to think a couple of weeks ago we were not able to broadcast either. So greetings and welcome to SEM Mondays Live. My name is Stephen Pollitt. I'm the creator of Source-Energy-Medicine, and I am really I was really excited to be here with you live today, and just a moment ago was thinking that we weren't going to get to have the opportunity to connect. So I'm thrilled to have the technical beings on YouTube's end cooperate with us. So as you come on in, please open up the chat box and say hello. And hopefully you know, I created Source Energy Medicine back in 2005 as a way to be able to help you to have a safe, effective way to be able to heal yourself. I share everything that's essential to your journey with Source Energy Medicine openly and freely. There's links in the notes below this player. Just click the show more and you'll see how to access our free mini course in Source Energy Medicine. And God willing, I'm here every Monday at this time to have the opportunity to answer your questions, to support you live and in real time, whether you're new to Source Energy Medicine or just getting started, or you're stuck or looking for your next step. And a couple of months ago when all of this COVID-19 stuff started, I began offering group energy healing sessions. There's an aspect of Source Energy Medicine that is an energy healing methodology. It's known as the non-material aspect of Source Energy Medicine. And I will continue to do that likely for quite some time to come. Most of the experts seem to think that we will be dealing with COVID-19 for at least the next year, possibly the next 2 years. So, and because of that, also as a way to support you, I am continuing to have to allow folks to register for the special master class that I produced back in, I think it was March. And while it focuses on COVID-19, it really has, it would serve you beautifully for the rest of your life, because it is centered all around acute conditions, which are often characterized as having a sudden and rapid onset. So anything like colds or flus, some migraine headaches, vomiting, diarrhea, things like that are typically described as acute conditions. So as I mentioned in the chat, I hope it's there because we had a start and stop and start and stop. I am accepting healing requests. You can type something into the chat, but please, as YouTube warns you or cautions you, it's a public platform, so please use discretion and please be kind to each other. I was listening to an NPR interview the other day with Dr. Osterholm, I believe is his name. He's an epidemiologist from Minnesota, and fascinating interview. And at one point he said that what we need is an epidemic of kindness. Which, God, really touched me, because, you know, here's a hardcore scientist, researcher, medical doctor, who's an infectious disease specialist, and one of his big recommendations was to be kind to each other. So it's an interview with Terry Gross on NPR. If you're interested, you can just search for. It was last Wednesday, I believe, was the original broadcast, but really fascinating interview. And part of what he said is, you know, in addition to the, you know, steep learning curve that all of the scientists and researchers are engaged in trying to figure out predictability and best practices and things like that. You know, this is unprecedented territory, but Dr. Osterholm has been predicting that we will experience a pandemic for years. He actually wrote a best-selling book about it. So, you know, it gives me a great sense of peace knowing that, you know, we have this opportunity to be able to connect, God willing, every Monday, to have a little bit of respite from the insanity, have a little bit of respite from the madness, higher levels of stress and fear I don't think we as humans have experienced before. So the first few minutes of our broadcast today will be open Q&A. If you have questions, please go ahead and type them into the chat. I have a couple of things that have come in through the various ways that information gets to me, and some things I want to talk about. But this is indeed our time that we have together today. As I mentioned, I'm accepting healing requests. If you don't want to type your healing request into the chat, you can always email it to me or leave it inside the Source Energy Medicine Quick Start Guide. And it's not essential that you share your healing requests for me. And I think one of the magnificent gifts within Source Energy Medicine is, especially the non-material aspect of Source Energy Medicine, the energy healing aspect is, all you have to do is be willing, and the source of all creation will bridge the gap between you and me, higher self to higher self. So I don't need to know all of the specifics, the details, the backstory, and for a lot of people, they want to share that, and that is part of the healing process. So I do have that as part of the offer. If you want to put a healing request into the chat, I'll honor that. And I think it's also important to note that the energy healing session is equally effective whether you're watching it live or in replay, and there is definite advantage to watching at least that segment of SEM Mondays numerous times. A lot of people I've heard from who are using it as a way to start their day, right, to get into energetic alignment, right, to help to start their day in a positive way. So I love that, and I love that this is a way that we all get to stay safe, right? We each get to stay home. We don't have to wear masks. We don't have to social distance. And that's actually the other thing that Dr. Osterholm mentioned. He wants to change. He wants to start a campaign to stop using the term social distancing, because we don't need social distancing. We need physical distancing, right? Physical distancing seems to be helpful at slowing the transmission of this virus. But we need connection, right? We're social creatures, and even for those like me who are extremely introverted, I think this is too much of an opportunity to self-isolate, too much of an opportunity to, just crawl into my own hole and go within. So now I think more than ever, whether you're an introvert or extrovert, I think it's very, very important to stay connected with your friends, family, loved ones, those who support you and those who you support. And that is, I think, another great reason for it is one of the reasons why I created SEM Mondays. Before I transitioned to having all of our workshops online, we had amazing communities, but they were all separate and segmented, and even like in Virginia, there were 4, different towns that I would go to, and certainly some of the people came to the other workshops, but they were still pretty isolated and no way to connect or talk to each other. So I'm just going to pause here real quick and see what we have going on in the chat, because it looks like an awful lot, and I want to do my best to honor the time that we have together today and answer as many questions from the folks who are here with me live. And just bear with me 1 second while I take a look and see what's going on. I see some technical questions. So on pretty much all of our websites, whether it's sourceenergymedicine.com, that's our main website, or where we host the Quick Start Guide and all of our online workshops, which is semonlinecourses.com. We have live chat, and Milo, who I know many of you know, works closely with me. He does large majority of our tech. He's absolutely amazing, brilliant, and he's super passionate about Source Energy Medicine. He knows it really, really, really well, and he's passionate about helping you. So if you have any technical questions, go to any of our websites, click the live chat, and talk with him. Please don't do it now, because he's helping me in the background. But Usually he'll log out while we're doing this, and sometimes he doesn't. So, um, and the kind of the cool thing with the live chat platform that we use is if he's logged out, you can still chat. You can start a chat, and he'll follow up, or I'll follow up with you by email afterwards. So any of those technical kinds of questions, Milo is definitely your guy, and it's awesome to have him. Um, Thank you for all the kind words. It's awesome to read through here. I often don't get to read most of these until long after the broadcast is over. It's hard to read and pay attention and continue to talk. So if you did put a healing request in the chat, just trust that it will be included in this session. And again, I don't have to know all of the specifics, but it's always I think there are a lot of people where if the communication helps the entire process. Let me just see. Thank you for all the kind words and encouraging comments and emojis. I love emojis, which is really, really funny because not that long ago, I actually I was not fond of emojis at all. But emojis on my end, when you launch an emoji, it actually shoots across my screen, and it's really, really cool. So, Amana asks, Stephen, is okay to use TF1, 2, and 3 all at the same time? Absolutely. There's actually a video that is on our YouTube channel where I talk about when is the most ideal time to add individual source energy medicines and why. There's a lot of logic behind why. And one thing that I do caution folks with is taking too many source energy medicines in the start. The reason why I caution you from doing that is pretty much guaranteed that everyone, when starting source energy medicine, has very strong subconscious resistance to healing. And when that is so, that means there is low allowance. Very often we have integrative wellness practitioners find source energy medicine, they just want to take everything all at once, and I get it. It's like, being a kid in a candy store with a pocket full of money and no supervision. So sometimes folks take a whole boatload of source energy medicines early on, and because of that subconscious resistance, they don't experience a whole lot working, or they don't feel like a whole lot is working. And in part it's because the subconscious resistance, and in part it's because source energy medicines are designed to be very subtle, very graceful, very gentle, without catharsis or healing reaction. So when we're done here, if you go to YouTube and you could search either on Google or on YouTube source energy medicine, and the conversation is all around the sample protocol, modifying the sample protocol, adding source energy medicines to the sample protocol. And if you have a hard time finding it, that certainly let me know. But yeah, you can. The short answer is you can take any source energy medicines, as many as you like. The only possible challenge you might encounter is frequent urination, which to me is feedback, right? That's an indication that I am drinking more water than my excretory system can comfortably handle. So logic and common sense would say drink less, right? But there's no possibility of healing reaction. And my goal is always to help to support you to have the greatest positive experience as fast as possible. And that's one of the reasons why I have been offering these group energy healing sessions, because the non-material aspect of source energy medicine is without question the fastest, most direct, most efficient way for me to be able to share source energy medicine with you. So Therese asks, in the master class and the instructions related to acute conditions, should one continue taking the various source energy medicines indicated for a period of time and take... I am confused by your question, Therese. So I'm not clear if you are in the master class or if you're asking if the master class explains that. So the master class is set up to provide you with everything that you need to know to help to ensure you stay healthy and well during every day, right? Not just during flu season, not just during this pandemic. And then it also provides step-by-step guidelines for exactly what to do first and then second and third, and how much of what, the logic behind knowing what to use. And it is indeed a very empowering conversation, and it's a very empowering bit of information. As I said, it would serve you beautifully for the rest of your life. But typically, we're all following some, hopefully, right? If you're out here, you're taking some source energy medicine and you're following some protocol, either the sample protocol or a protocol that I or one of our practitioners created for you. And then if something comes up, like signs or symptoms, then you're adding to that sample protocol. So I hope that was helpful. And if not, if you are in the master class, then there's a forum for ongoing questions, and please ask your question in there. I'd be happy to answer it directly in there and make sure you have all of the answer that you need. And she says she is in the master class. Awesome. So bear with me. Let me just find where I am on my outline. And I'll do my best to bounce back and forth between what I have that has come in by email and in our quick start guide, and questions that you folks have that are with me, who are here with me live. So this snippet came in, this email came in. I took a snippet from the email, and I really want to talk about this today because I see this type of thing all the time. It's fascinating to me, and I want to explain really the what's behind this kind of experience. So I'm going to add this. I'm going to read this snippet from this email and then explain. So the email says, "I am very new to energy, and I am very curious about learning more. I have to admit that when I signed up for your quick start guide, it seemed simple and easy, but I was instantly overwhelmed. Not because of the material, you have laid it all out so well. I try to relax and tell myself it's not complicated. I try to watch your videos and read through the steps, and poof, my mind is not able to absorb or understand anything. I'll attempt to start your step-by-step process. I am sure that when I'm ready to receive the information, it will make sense. Thank you for offering your knowledge and guidance to support us in learning source energy medicine." So hard for me to not. So on one hand, I'm smirking and trying to not laugh during this, and my reaction is because of how frequent I see this. I saw it in my own experience as well back in 2004, and I believe that what this person is beautifully describing, and part of what I'm laughing at is myself, right? Because I try very hard to not overwhelm you with information in the quick start guide, which I could so easily do. On one hand, source energy medicine is very simple, and yet mastery of source energy medicine does certainly take some time, and there's a lot to talk about. So in spite of my attempts to keep the quick start guide simple and just the essentials, right, just the very basics of what you need to know to get started, that overwhelming feeling and that lack of being able to intellectually understand the concepts and the steps and the what to do next, I believe is an expression or an indication that your subconscious mind is sabotaging your efforts. The subconscious mind is not your friend when it calibrates low. And if you don't understand about calibrated energy level, you can there too search on YouTube when we're done here for source energy medicine and calibrated energy, and it'll help you to understand that. And then there's also a video on the subconscious mind where I describe the subconscious mind as being like Dr. Jekyll or Mr. Hyde, depending on where it's calibrated. And this is a Dr. Jekyll, right? This is your subconscious mind from my perspective, what I'm reading into everything that you're sharing here, this is the subconscious mind trying to prevent it from being transformed. It's trying to help to keep you stuck. The subconscious mind, when it's calibrated low, it's not just there to inconvenience you or sidetrack you or slow your progress. It's literally there to help to destroy your life, help to ensure that life is filled with pain and suffering and setbacks and lack and limitation. So very often in the beginning of source energy medicine, it does indeed take willpower. It does indeed require fierce commitment. And this is another reason why having a community of like-minded individuals who are all going through the quick start guide, we're all, there's a significant number of people who are finding source energy medicine every day and diving into the quick start guide. So you're not alone in getting going. Yes, the 7 steps to getting started with source energy medicine, I think, is really helpful, and yet we still have to figure out a way of overcoming the subconscious mind, because the subconscious mind, when it's calibrated low, will try and use your intellect against you. It will use your intellect to build very seemingly logical, rational arguments to not make or take source energy medicine, to not get started, and that helps to ensure that the subconscious mind will continue to be able to function the way it is. The subconscious mind, when it's calibrated low, is, I often describe it as it's insidious, it's vicious, it's relentless, right? It's working when you're sleeping. It never stops trying to undermine your success. It tries to undermine your happiness. It tries to undermine everything, every goal that you would ever possibly set, anything that you would ever like to accomplish or achieve. It will do its best to help to ensure that that doesn't happen. Conversely, once your subconscious mind is transformed, and ideally, once your subconscious mind is in alignment with your higher self, it's at your ideal energy level, then your subconscious mind is your greatest asset and your strongest ally. So I hope that's helpful, and I think the big takeaway here is you're not alone. I have heard this or very similar stories. And it's also very heartbreaking to me that how frequently I receive an email from someone who learned about source energy medicine. Sometimes it's 10 or 12 or 13 years ago, and their subconscious mind won, right? And now they're back and trying to figure out, what happened and how do I get started again. And the heartbreaking part to me is because their challenges are in many cases significantly worse than they were when they first found source energy medicine, and they've continued to progress and just get worse. So it's a bit of a catch-22 in the beginning, and that's one of the reasons why I try and keep the information in the quick start guide manageable and to not overwhelm you. And I've even thought about breaking up the quick start guide into a part A and a part B, but I'm committed to delivering in the quick start guide everything that's essential, and breaking it up gets confusing. So for now, it's what it is. Having an accountability partner, I think, is huge, right? Have someone who is open and eager, willing to explore source energy medicine, and it used to be believed that it takes 21 days to build a new habit, and now there's some really good research that indicates it's longer than that, and it's likely 66 days is what some of this research is indicating. So it takes, which is interesting to think about, because the average person, it takes 60 to 90 days to transform the subconscious mind, and then once the subconscious mind is completely transformed, then I would think building a new routine of anything, right? Committing to a new exercise or a new way of eating or a new way of being, meditation routine, any of those things is infinitely easier because your subconscious mind will be supporting all of those choices. So I'm going to get ready on my end for the group energy healing session. I'm going to scan the chat real quick and see if there's anything that is questions-wise that's in here that I want to address before and after the energy healing session. I'll come back and check for last minute questions before we say goodbye for now. So I think it's important for you to know that the group energy healing session is, the way most people experience it is, it's like meditation time, right? It's quiet, it's peaceful. For me, it always feels like being wrapped in a blanket of unconditional love. It's very uplifting and inspiring and peaceful and calming and grounding at the same time. Within every aspect of source energy medicine, the worst thing that can happen is nothing. And I'm not so sure that nothing ever happens. 100% might not happen, but something is happening. The more sensitive you are, and the fewer distractions that you have when you experience this session, whether it's live or in replay, that seems to increase the receptivity. It seems to increase the allowance. So please use common sense. If you're flying an airplane or if you're sitting in a hot tub, probably not the best time to close your eyes and experience this session. So if you are in a place where it is safe and comfortable and appropriate for you to close your eyes, that seems to minimize distractions, which thereto increases the allowance or receptivity. So if you are flying an airplane, when I said that, when you land, go back to YouTube and type a comment. That would be totally awesome to hear. But you know, I get comments, I get feedback from people who are listening to these while they're driving and you know, are sitting in a cafe or something like that. Not the best environment, right? So wait till you're home. I treat this work with a great deal of reverence and respect, and I think that's my approach to healing in general. So I like to experience this work personally, when I'm either seated comfortably, like in my meditation space, or lying down with a minimum of distractions. The work is phenomenally fast. Probably about 5 minutes will be our session today. And I'll put some chanting on in the background, just so that you know that we are indeed still broadcasting, and there'll be a slide up so that what I'm doing is not distracting to you. So whether you submit a healing request or not, I invite you to, each time you experience a non-material source energy medicine, a group session, I invite you to choose one goal or one challenge. And the reason why I say that is, well, A, you can pick a new goal and a new challenge each time you experience this session. And if you just focus on one, then the feedback, right, your experience is much easier to measure. Your feedback is much more tangible and within reach, if that makes sense. So, yeah. And if you have any questions or you're not familiar with the non-material aspect of source energy medicine, you can please type something quickly into the chat. And when we're done, if you go to YouTube or Google the non-material aspect of source energy medicine or source energy medicine and energy healing, you'll see a video come up on our channel where I explain the non-material aspect of source energy medicine as best as I can these days. So, yeah. I don't see any questions there, nothing that's urgent. And again, when we come back, I'll scan the chat one more time, and if I'm always most interested in whether it's a one-on-one non-material source energy medicine session or a group. I'm most interested in your experience, and especially something in terms of measurable results. So when we come back, if you're willing to share something in the chat, or even if you're watching this in replay, and in replay too, you can always ask questions in the chat below. The chat feature stays live even in the replays, and I do my best to answer as many questions as possible. So as we get set here, I'm going to go ahead and transition to the energy healing, and I invite you to take a nice deep breath and hold in mind that one goal or that one challenge, And know that there is no order of difficulty when it comes to miracles, at least according to A Course in Miracles, which I always find inspiring. And as much as possible, try and see that goal as being fully realized, or that challenge as being completely transformed, balanced, and restored. As much as possible, trust in the divine orchestration and the divine timing. And as much as possible, try and see yourself not with your body's eyes, but see yourself perhaps from the perspective that the source of all creation sees you, which I believe to be as innocent, free of sin, free of guilt, free of contempt or condemnation, harsh judgment, and only filled with unconditional love and blessings for all. Continue to breathe comfortably and just continue to allow, continue to receive. nice deep breath. Feel the gentle pressure of the clothes against your skin. Gently wiggle your fingers and toes, and if your eyes are closed, slowly blink them open and come on back to join me here live or in replay on YouTube. And while this time for the energy healing session was very, very short in terms of moments or linear time, please know that this work will continue to, you will continue to experience this work for hours, if not days to come. And each time you revisit this and re-experience it, it definitely is like refreshing and strengthening, and often folks are able to go deeper. And again, you can choose a separate goal or a challenge each subsequent time that you go through the experience. So I'm super grateful to everyone for your kind words and encouragement. One thing that really touches me deeply, because I'm on a lot of courses that I participate in, and sometimes they have a segment of it on YouTube, and I'm always deeply touched by the level of care and support that our community offers each other. It really is rare and unique, and I'm so grateful for your kindness to me, towards Milo, and towards each other. This world can be a difficult, tough place to be, and I love that within our community we have a really respectful, amazing group of like-minded individuals who, if you really think about it, we're all here to help each of us to heal ourselves and to support each other. So your kindness and your generosity and your respect of each other is really does mean a lot to me. So yeah, I have an appointment that if I don't run in just a moment or two, I'm going to be late for, and I am, in spite of being born a day later than I was originally planned and wanted to, I do greatly value punctuality, and I greatly value I value punctuality, and it's tough for me sometimes, especially when doing like an energy healing session like this, because it's timeless for me. And I come back into the quote-unquote illusion of time, and then have to catch up. So and I see, Therese, you are indeed in the master class and in that forum. So yeah, please post your questions in there, or just send me an email, and I'll make sure that you have all of the answers and the support that you need. And it's awesome to have you here with us live today, Therese. It's fantastic. Nancy B says, thank you, Stephen. So powerful. What a blessing. Much gratitude. Thank you, Nancy. Thank you for receiving the work so beautifully. Therese share is so beautiful. Thank you. Thank you. And some gorgeous red hearts from Amana. Thank you. I appreciate that. And Christiana shares, very grateful for this. Thank you. Awesome to have you join us. And Franco and Marina and Christian and gosh, who else did I see in there? My friend Joanne. Lots of really amazing people, amazing members of our community, and really super grateful for this time that we've had together today. So between now and next Monday, God willing, I'll be back here at our regular time. If you have questions, anything related to what we talked about today or this session, you can certainly leave your questions in the comments below. And if you are ever not able to join us live and you have questions, please email them a couple of days in advance, and I'll do my best to get them added to the outline. And also within the Source Energy Medicine Quick Start Guide, I'm in there every day. Milo is in there frequently. Milo answers more of the technical questions, and I answer more of the source energy medicine related questions. So that's a really great resource. And again, if you're totally new to source energy medicine and you're not yet registered for the Quick Start Guide, there'll be a link. Just click the Show More below the player, and you'll see a link to that. So it's really awesome to have this forum, to have this community, to have this connection, and I am super, super grateful. And as always, I wish you continued blessings on your journey with Source Energy Medicine. Bye for now.